Economics isn't complicated. It's just the study of how we share stuff that's limited. Food, jobs, oil, even time. There's never enough of anything for everybody who wants it. And yeah, people always push back on that last part. I hear it all the time. Time? I've never paid for time. Come on, what do you think interest is? It's literally you paying extra because you borrowed tomorrow's money today. Loans, credit cards, mortgages, they all put a price on time because you can't get those seconds back. Scarcity hits everything, even your clock. Thomas Sowell put it perfectly. The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics. Karl Marx, he basically said, nah, scarcity is fake in his book Das Kapital from 1867. He claimed, value comes only from how long you work. He called it socially necessary labor time. He ignored limited land, what people actually want, or how much stuff there is. Scarcity? Just a capitalist trick. But here's what's wild. Even Marx wasn't that naive. In 1875, in his critique of the Gotha program, he copied some advice from the Bible. If you don't work, you don't eat. Or to quote Thessalonians 3:10, written by the Apostle Paul to address laziness and disorderly behavior in the Thessalonian church, Marx, like Paul, made it a rule for early socialism: no free lunch. Yet. Why? Because he knew people aren't perfect. We get lazy, greedy, selfish. You need rules or hunger to keep us moving, to contribute a part to the whole. Milton Friedman saw this absurdity up close in Asia in the 1960s. He watched thousands of workers digging canals with shovels and asked, why not use machines, to the authorities in charge. They told him because it provided more jobs. He shot back, then give them spoons and create even more jobs. The labor theory of value doesn't have anything to do with value, except for to pretend it doesn't exist. See the point? Work alone isn't worth much. It's what you actually get done that counts. A tractor moves dirt faster than a spoon and feeds way more people. Marx's idea? It's stuck. No room for better tools or new ideas. Just rich people steal from workers. That's all. No thinking. A total cop-out. Just blame the rich. But workers actually get richer under free markets. It's like the old expression, a rising tide raises all ships. Capitalism has always provided better pay, food, technology, phones, cars, and choices of all of the above. Go figure. A homeless person in New York has more freedom and likely a better phone than someone, and even a better standard of living than some in North Korea right now. At the end of the day, Marx wasn't really an economist. He was a thinker, a philosopher who hated markets. He had no supply and demand charts, no way to price things, no math for risk or profit, no means of determining scarcity. Guys like Adam Smith watched scarcity. Marx called the whole thing fake. The rich just hoarded so much that wealth couldn't be spread evenly, making scarcity appear to be real. It's funny how no matter how many rich people communists murdered and looted to divide the wealth of, society still kept getting poorer, isn't it? Marx predicted capitalism would crash and workers would rise up. It didn't happen. Workers got better lives. His plan? Remove dissent. No wiggle room for change, no new ideas. Just blame the bosses. Then change human nature. Change human nature? What an impossible proposition. Hayek put it this way: the curious task of economics is to demonstrate to men how little they really know about what they imagine they can design. Marx wanted to redesign people, make everyone selfless and equal with no greed. But greed, laziness, and self-interest are baked in. You can't plan them away. Communists and socialists prefer the term equity, not equality. It means the equalization of results. The problem with that? You'd have to scar the beautiful, cut down the tall, and implant the intelligent with chips to slow down their thoughts. Thomas Sowell put it best: people are not even equal unto themselves on different days. Equity is a hammer, and every problem is a nail. Mises explained why state planning without measuring scarcity fails. Economic calculation in the socialist commonwealth is impossible without real market prices. Planners can't figure out what's worth what, who needs what, or even where it's needed. No buying or selling means no real costs. Everything's just state stuff. No prices means no correct information. No accurate information equals waste everywhere. When the planners guess wrong, the results are brutal. The Soviet Union in the 1950s looked like a boom on paper, 5 to 7% growth annually, steel mills, dams, tanks everywhere, but no price system meant they were guessing everything. Rothbard summed it up: it is no crime to be ignorant of economics, which is, after all, a specialized discipline and one that most people consider to be a dismal science. But it is totally irresponsible to have a loud and vociferous opinion on economic subjects while remaining in this state of ignorance. Marx had loud opinions without the tools, and because of that, he may just end up being one of the world's most destructive individuals, if we're to take that formula to heart. Take grain. In the Soviet Union, they harvested millions of tons on paper, but 20 to 30% rotted before it reached the mills. Silos overflowed in one area, while people from other cities stood in bread lines. Roads were barely paved, trucks got stuck, grain spoiled on trains, storage buildings had no ventilation, mold, rats, a total loss in many cases. Famously, it was the same story with shoes. The Soviet Union was the world's top producer, 800 million pairs a year. But they were the wrong sizes. Kids got adult shoes. Adults got kids' sizes. Factories hit their quotas, but nobody knew who actually needed what. Landfills full of useless shoes, while people went barefoot. Steel? They pumped out 150 million tons a year, more than the US, but the quality was terrible. Brittle, impure, low-grade stuff. No market prices meant no incentive to improve. Factories chased volume, not quality. They exported raw steel to the West for hard currency, but buyers rejected the defects, so the Soviets quietly used American and European market prices, Chicago Mercantile Exchange and London Metal Exchange, to value their own steel, basically admitting, we can't figure this out, so we'll borrow capitalism's numbers. In China, Mao-era famine led to zero growth. That is until Deng in 1978. He opened farms, factories, foreign investment, and boom, 10% plus GDP yearly. But here's the kicker: they didn't collapse because they let capitalism in. Now they had joint ventures, export zones, and cheap labor to sell to US and European markets. China's state-planned growth also built ghost cities. 65 million empty homes, entire districts with skyscrapers and malls, covered in amazing coordinated lighting and impressive displays, sitting vacant. Debt-fueled overbuilding created them. Local governments borrowed trillions to hit GDP targets. Developers built without demand. Many of these buildings were so poorly constructed, they earned the nickname tofu dread projects. Walls you could literally tear apart with your bare hands. Concrete that crumbled like wet sand, and rebar that rusted within years. Rushed quotas and corrupt inspections meant quality control was ignored. Now they stand as monuments to central planning's blind spots. No price signals meant no one knew how much housing people actually wanted, and no market pressure meant no incentive to build it right. The cost has already been paid by the people of China, and they're not even aware of it yet. Inevitably, all of this failure leads straight to black markets. It's what I call communism's boomerang. Bread, jeans, medicine, weapons, sold at 5 to 10 times the official price. People barter, smuggle, and use dollars or any other currency worth more. In China, before Deng, underground factories did the same thing. These weren't rebellions. They were survival economics, and getting caught, it could mean arrest, the gulag, or death by firing squad. People risked everything for their families out of desperation because the state left them no legal way to survive, put them in a damned if you do, damned if you don't position. So, communism always boomerangs. The first and only thing it actually creates is a true capitalist market. No regulations, no oversight, no third-party interference, rules, or laws. Just because you pretend scarcity doesn't exist and build a whole system with no prices doesn't mean you won't watch waste pile up and people go hungry. You will. You will also, however, then watch those same people quietly lean into capitalism. Trade, tech, markets, just to keep going. Soviet grain from American farms, Chinese factories selling to Walmart. Without it, they wouldn't be around to feel bad about the hypocrisy. Black markets prove it. You can't kill value. People will always find a way to get what they need. When central planning fails, and it always does, human nature wins. And when trading my apple for your orange is ingrained in our nature, it always will.